It's always important to connect all of these theories to communication in general. So let's take a moment to do that. Communication is obviously a very important part of family schemas. In my opinion, it's the most important part of any relationship or any family. And there are two types: conversation orientation and conformity orientation. So let's start with conversation orientation. Basically, this discusses that families that have high conversation schema, they like to talk. In contrast, families with a low conversation schema do not spend a lot of time talking. It's either not important to them, or maybe they just don't have the time. Maybe they're all different places at different times. So obviously we want to aim our families to have that high conversation schema if that's what fits within, making the family members happy. The second part of this is conformity orientation. This is where families have maybe high conformity schema and they accept the authority of parents. Families with low conformity orientation in this area will expect more individuality and autonomy. So your family's communication pattern really depends on where your schema fits within these two types of orientation. So I want you to, again, take a moment to think about your own family, either growing up or if you have a family right now. Were you high conversation mode, low conformity, or vice versa? There's different combinations of these two. So for guiding question number 2, I'd like you to take a look at the question first, and then on our discussion board, please respond. If you're comfortable sharing, please discuss which type of communication pattern your family falls into, and also share your opinion about which combination of schemas is the most effective and why. So that's an opinion question, so please provide some support from either the textbook or just your own personal experience about which combination of conversation and conformity orientations you feel fit the best to make the quote-unquote best family communication patterns. The remainder of this presentation will talk about the types of family schemas, which I'm very interested in. Again, I constantly connect this to my family growing up, to my family now, to other families that I know, and it's very interesting. So I hope you'll find interest in this as well. Let's talk about the family types. There are consensual families, pluralistic, protective, and laissez-faire. The various schemas create these different family types, and really the types of parents are determined by the ways in which they use their space, their time, their energy, and the degree to which they express their feelings, exert power, and share a common philosophy of marriage. A type of family schema and orientation to communication or conformity results in a particular marriage type. And these types can be traditional, independent, or separate. There's a really great graphic on page 233. If you would take a moment to look at that graphic, it explains it very well, and I will talk about that on the next slide. So here is the graphic on page 233 that I was hoping everyone could take a look at. If you notice, it's just a pretty simple way of looking at the different types of family schemas, but also noticing the conformities and the types of conversations that these families might have. So let's take a quick look at the protective type of family. They're high conformity but low conversation. And the consensual family, high conformity, high conversation, etc. So this is just a nice graphic to summarize the next couple of points that we'll be talking about.